Guys, I made it on the list. Look! I'm right there. Look! I made it. Wait. Oh, I did it! Woo! Alright. Should be all good. For those who don't know, my tag's BassMage. I'm from Lavender Esports, and I'm considered the best puff in the world, if not like second next to Erika. Say it however you want, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to teach you some basics about puff, just a synopsis. Not going to be a lot, but it's going to be enough. So what I like to say about puff's neutral, or like the way that I like to describe puff is she's freeform. You can do whatever you want with her. Like right here, it's basically just like you move in, you're away from the hitboxes. Usually you like to be right here, where say a character is, because Link, he can drift forward, he can do like drift in and do a forward air, but you can hold shield here, or you can dash back, or you can roll and then do a grab, or even do a short hop down air. It's important to know that like her movement is very it's decent due to pivot landing. Pivot landing is just stuff like this. So say if I'm facing left and I still am, then on the last possible frame or something like that, you want to drift your stick right. So that way you're facing like that. It can make things like dare loops much easier. Like this. See? Isn't this so cool? You can just do it like that due to pivot landing. But even then, you can still just get good mix-ups. So if you start to have a good neutral and learn about the game a bit more, you can definitely just upgrade and become a way better puff just by using down air like this. A thing that I like to think, though I'm probably the only one in the world who thinks this, is that I think short hop down air is very underrated in terms of being having it being a tilting move to handle. But short hop down air like this can be pivot landed. So that way you have good movement. You can crouch, short hop down air, pivot land, grab. The good thing about Puffs is that all her moves can do this. I'm not too good at the bear one, but you see what I mean. What I like to do for drifting, my drift timings are usually say if my opponent's here, I like to do that, or I like to do this. The reason why a lot of Puffs do this is because they want to get the last hit of Nair, so they can get a grab or a good mix-up. Since a lot of players versus Puff, they're likely going to shield against you. So what I'll do is I'll just grab. Since Puff's grab, it's not bad at all. So you can just abuse that. You can just get a cute little offstage thing like that. Ah, you got me right there. That's just her basics in neutral. This her tilts are actually pretty good on shield, so you can just abuse it, and not a lot of characters can reliably punish it. You can just do this. Granted, it's small, but it's still good to use. Up tilt, it can combo into setups, you can do up tilt, double jump down air. I'm not the best at it, but I think you can get what I mean if you look. Up tilt's also good for comboing, I can do up tilt up air right there, and that's cool. Strong hit back air, back air is good if you do the Gimmer tech, is what HBox calls it. It's you can just do this and just do infinite back airs in Melee. You have to be grounded though usually. There is other tech, I think IRAR back air, an instant reverse aerial rush back air, but I don't really do it that much. I don't think it's that needed, but yeah, you can just do this. It's pretty good, especially if you read strong hit. You can just do stuff, you can just do you can make the opponent really annoyed because you'll be just in the space and you just get it. I'll just talk about grabs pretty easily. Forward throw's your favorite. Down throw does 14.4, I think. It can do, say if you pummel, grab, 15.9. That's cool. You can instant double jump and then just go for a good mix-up. Because down, this isn't true, but there's mix-ups that you can do. Say if they jump, you still get advantage state, stuff like that. The rest setups that I like to normally talk about are pound. Pound rest is my favorite, or it's one of my favorites. And then I also like up air rest because it's just fun. Say on Bowser, the percent window's pretty nice. There's a percent where it won't kill, but it'll always work, so that's always cool. So even if you practice it when it doesn't kill, at least you're still learning it. It's also pretty easy to do, and that's always fun. You can do, say if there's a shield break, you can do that, and then boom, pound rest. Boom. Stuff like that. Another thing that's cool is jab block sing. It's granted you still have to read them not teching, but it's still cool. What I heavily recommend is people doing double tap. Is like not just doing one jab, they do 2 jabs. Because with one jab, if you buffer the sing too early, or if you buffer the sing, but let's say you miss or you mess up, that means you're buffering a sing. Like what if I do this? Granted, it'll still hit right here, but I think you get my point. It's important to do double jab because one, you can hesitate, but barely. And even then, not a lot of players are going to react to it or try and mash out. But it can also set up for like, say the up air rest percent is like 58, and you're at 55 once it hits. So we'll say this. At 60, it might have not killed, but at 66, there's a chance it could kill. It'll probably kill at 60. So what I like to do with Puff on platforms is just mix-ups. There's really good mix-ups you can do on these stages. You can still get setups. You can even get mix-ups. You can get setups like up air sing. And I know there's tech that's still being shown on a double jump up air into rest, stuff like that. You can find that on other Puff players' channels. I'm not going to be going into that too much because there's not really anyone who's abusing it. A cool thing on like the combos is like, say if they're on a platform, forward tilt or like forward. I would say not that, but like you can do a soft fair at like low percents and you can get them off. They can put them in the tumble, stuff like that. There's also this setup on a platform is really good because you're covering the space and you can drift in like that. You can drift in right here. You can drift in like that. There's so many drift patterns you can do, and you can also instant double jump waveland like that. Do an up air, do whatever you want. Rest setups are still pretty, like rest setups are like okay-ish. There's also setups with like dare rest and stuff like that. I don't personally do it myself, but it is possible. I'd recommend going into Cass's video. Well, yeah, I think it's Cass, and I'll be linking that in the YouTube video below, just so you guys can see different rest setups. I'm just going over basics and fundies. Drift patterns, you want to focus on just being in a certain like distance. I know HBox calls it bubble theory, and personally, I can understand that. So say if Bowser's here, you can always be in this space. Like what can Bowser, like Bowser is to commit to something, and say if he does a laggy move, you can punish it with like a pound nair. You can get things like up tilt if you are good enough. What's important is that just like is knowing like what works and what doesn't. Like say if I'm like here, what can Bowser really do if I'm just sitting right here and he's trying to approach me? Like what if he does a dash attack or a side B where I hold shield spot dodge? You can do that, I guess. But I think you get my point. It's all about drifting and microspacing. And once you find your opening, you can do a little dare loop. I'm just doing it on Bowser just because it's the easiest to do, and a lot of people know that. Some sing setups that I like to do personally are like, let's see, it should work. Up tilt sing, up air rest of course, but I like doing this. I just like doing setups like that. Down air, forward air. If you read it, you can do up tilt, and even if it's a mix-up, it can still work, and you can just do stuff like that. I don't think that was true, but I mean, I think you get my point. Up tilt rest like that is also true. It's just the percents are weirdly hard. Like, it's like a 5% to 10% window, so it's never really worth to do. I just like doing setups like that, or like doing back air. There's also stuff like back air, forward air, or like back air and the down air, depending on how specific you are. I don't really do back air setups yet, but I really want to start doing that. I know Cannon Red does things like back air into up tilt, into down air, and just setups like that. But those setups can actually be SDI'd, but not all people know the matchup like that, so you should be fine. I would say that sing is very important. You can do things like jump sing. You could do sing out of shield. A good example is you can sing Bowser's up B out of shield. So say like if you catch him off guard and he does a Bowser up B, but he whiffs it or misses it, you can just buffer sing and it'll always usually hit unless they space it. But then you get a guaranteed dare loop, so it doesn't really matter in the first place. You want to see controls? Yeah, I have an editor. These are my setup. This is my setup. I want my phone. My phone. I would recommend not using my setup because I'm different, and you should probably use tilt stick. But I mean, that's just my preference. You shouldn't be copying someone's controls to be the best. You should just use what you enjoy the most. But that's just me. That's just gonna about be it for my synopsis of Puff. There isn't really much I want to say. If you have any more questions, you can just DM me or something. Doesn't really matter. Just let me know. If you have anything in the comments, just do that. So, peace. And we're good.